of you to tonight's Open Your Eyes People broadcast. I'm your host, Evangelist Anita Rivera. It is August 23rd, 2022, and I have a very interesting broadcast to bring to you all tonight concerning CERN, the Large Hadron Collider. I want us to get into that. Before I go any further, though, I just want to just share that we are helping many people, young and old, with letters of religious exemption. So if you or someone you know are in need of one, maybe they don't have membership in a church, maybe they don't hold membership in any organized religion, but they hold to sincerely held religious beliefs and tenets, and maybe they're in a situation where their employer is asking for proof of exemption or proof of religious beliefs, sincerely held religious beliefs, in order to not to take an inoculation. We all know what that is. Well, send them our way. We'd be more than happy to help them in their time of need. My email address is anita@emoaf.org, ANITA@emoaf.org. My website is www.emoaf.org, emoaf.org. Now, I will respond within 24 hours of them contacting me, or you, if you're the one who's in need, and we'll get you taken care of, my friend. So I look forward to being of service. Let our church cover you and bless you in Jesus' mighty name. All right, now I want to get right into this particular report tonight. And it is coming from prophecynewswatch.com along with other sites. So what led me to this report tonight was the headlines that I've been putting out recently through our Open Your Eyes through our Open Your Eyes People breaking news website. It's a news website that we have here with the church ministry. It really is biblical news that we bring to you all. Headlines from all around the world that relate or match biblical prophecy. Folks, we're living in the last days. This is undeniable. The signs are all around us. And, what did Jesus say? Jesus said a lot, okay? In 3 out of the 4 Gospels, Matthew chapter 24, Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21, he told us to clearly discern the times that we're living in. He said that these will be the signs of the times and the end of the age. And he gave in detail specific things, events that will take place, proving that we're living in the last days, proving that his return is near. So we are that generation. Jesus said that generation who will see all these things come to pass will by no means pass away until all these things come to pass. Well, the things that he was talking about was the signs that he detailed for all of us. So as I share with you all the headlines, I'm constantly in awe, surprised, and among other things, sometimes is really disturbed about all that's happening. And it just proves that we're living, again, in the times of the end. So, Jesus also told us to, when he said, he told us in the scriptures that when we begin to see all these things, to look up, lift up our heads, for our redemption draweth nigh. So a couple of headlines that I brought out just within the past few days, one of which is headlined, Babies Created Without Sperm, Eggs, or Womb. World's first after man-made embryos grown in lab by Israeli scientists. I know it's hard for many in the church to believe that the nation of Israel is a leader, if you will, in many things pertaining to biblical prophecy, such as microchips and technological advances and man-made abominations, such as the one that I just shared with you all. Apparently, scientists have managed to grow a synthetic embryo sperm, an egg, and womb for the very first time. They're saying it's groundbreaking, it's not intended to create babies outside of the womb. What? Why mess with something that is ordered by God? God made it very clear in the book of Genesis. He gave a blessing to both man and woman, Adam and Eve, and he told them, be fruitful and multiply. That is a gift that God gave. It is a blessing. It is dare I say it, a commandment. It was an order by the Lord. It was never meant for man to create fake embryos to be developed outside of God's order. And here we are talking about it because we're living in the last days. Again, this is undeniable proof that we're living in the times of the end. They said that, let me just share with you a bit of the headlines. This is not the headline that I wanted to share with you all, but I'm just kind of leading up to the one about Cern because it's a concern. Come on. It says here well, let me share with you a bit in context. It says the groundbreaking development is not intended to create babies outside of the womb. No, instead, the aim is to one day produce replacement organs for humans. Experts made fake embryos, which are created without fertilized eggs using stem cells from mice. After a little over a week, these embryo-like structures self-assembled with rudimentary beating heart, blood circulation, the early stages of a brain and intestinal tracts. Friends, that may sound groundbreaking and even exciting to many in the science community and researchers all around the world, and of course those who pay, who actually invest in things like this. But it is not good news. It is prophetic news, and I'm going to call it a sign of Bible prophecy. I believe that this points to the fact that we're living in the days of Noah. Jesus said in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 24, he said that as it were in the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in those days they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that the great flood came and washed them all away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. Well, when you go to the Old Testament, when you visit the book of Genesis chapter 6, it details for us how the days of Noah were. And the Bible says that a new breed of man, if you will, was created when you had fallen angelic beings. Some call them Nephilim, but they were known as the sons of God, but they were not in the glory of God anymore. This was a state of angelic beings that were fallen when Satan, who was formerly known as Lucifer, was cast out into heaven, bringing a third of the angels with them. And this was a time of great testing. Let's be more specific. It was a time of great wickedness upon the entire face of the earth. That these fallen angelic beings, the sons of God, made it with the daughters of men, real women that were not fallen angelic beings, but real women, and they created a new race. They created giants. And the Bible says that this new creation, outside of the order of God, caused the hearts of mankind to be wicked, and even every thought and even the intent of every thought to be debaucherously wicked. Let me share with you directly from the scriptures. Genesis chapter 6, starting in verse 1 says, "Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God," that's the fallen angelic beings, "saw the daughters of men that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men." That was, they had intercourse, they became one. And it says here, when that took place, they bore children to them. The women became pregnant with the offspring of the fallen angelic beings. And it says here, those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, listen, this was in Genesis chapter 6. The stunning part of all of this, and many parts of it actually is stunning, the stunning part of it is that the Son of God, Jesus Christ himself, the only begotten Son of God, says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 36, about the last days. Here's what he says. He says, but of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, we just read it. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark and did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Friends, this is where we are at. The days of Noah are upon us. The wickedness and judgment of man are upon us. And this one headline, if this is all that it was, would be proof that the words of Jesus Christ is happening now. That is coming to fruition now. And the thing is that this is not the only headline. There are multiple headlines. There are multiple things happening right now in the name of science, in the name of medical breakthrough, in the name of healthcare, that is an abomination in the eyes of God. That is literally part of Bible prophecy, as in the days of Noah. And this is not, again, I know they're saying, well, but this is going to be for the benefit of mankind. Hell, what's the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's always for the benefit of mankind. So was the World Wide Web. So was email. So was a cell phone. So was all this technology. So was so many other things that just brought man into a bondage. And here, creating babies, being created without sperm, eggs, or womb, the world's first after man-made embryos grown in a lab by none other than Israeli scientists, is a major telltale sign that we're living in the times of the end, and that there is a new race, a new breed of man that will be coming on the face of the earth, that will seek to have the status of those that are made in the image of God, humans, mankind, woman and man, male and female, he made them, these new creations outside of the order of Jesus Christ, will claim the same benefit. This is very scary when you think about it. They will seek to claim the same benefits of mankind. They will seek to have a special status. They will seek to have special protections. And they're going to say, well, wait a minute, we were created. We really didn't ask to be here, but you created us, and now we're placing a demand. And these things are going to have a spirit that's not going to be a human spirit. It's not going to be the Holy Spirit. It's going to be an ungodly spirit. It's going to be a days of Noah spirit. Dare I even say, possibly an Antichrist spirit. And now things are going to get interesting. How do we stop something like this when the world is running towards it? The world, I know we're all talking about, we got to save the planet from asteroids. We got to save the planet from massive volcanic eruptions. We got to save the planet from massive earthquakes and climate change, and we got to stop our own extinction. Well, why don't you start here? Maybe some stuff has to be shut down in the research community, all in the name of science, because you're going to create a new breed of race, a new breed of humanity that's not going to end well for mankind. And you may say, well, maybe this is God's way or evolution's way of us going from one step to another. Maybe it's part of the evolutionary process for us to be now superhumans. Maybe we need to evolve a bit. Maybe this creation outside of the order of your God, some are saying this, will be better for the sake of humankind, and maybe it would actually stop our extinction and make it a better place. No. This is now you're getting into the dark stuff. You're getting into a realm of wickedness. I just shared it with you in the scriptures. And God says, listen, I'm not going to strive with man forever. He's saying to us right now, if you want to get involved in this, in the name of science, in the name of healthcare, in the name of whatever you want to try to, put the pretty bow on and call it good, that's part of the knowledge of good and evil. And I'm not going to be part of it. My spirit is not going to be, we're not going to go over this again. To have the Spirit of God grieved is a very scary thing. And we have to understand that this is happening now. And God is watching over it now. And he knows whose heart is towards him, and he knows whose heart is against him. He knows whose are his, and he knows whose are not. He knows the wheat from the tares. That's why, as people who are made in the image of God, we must submit our lives to Jesus Christ. We must be born again, because if not, you're going to have people that are part of this claiming to be, look, Israeli scientists. Who else closer to God than the Israelites and the Hebrew people? Then, hey, listen, I'm all for the Jewish people, but if it goes against God, I don't care. You could be my own mom. I have to say no. I have to back up and say, no, I can't walk with you anymore. We're not of the same mind. We're not of the same Lord. This is how tight-knit things have to be in the times that we're living in. We may have to cut some stuff off, because these people are running full speed ahead to the cliff of destruction that will take them over. And they're saying, well, we're going to be taken over the edge and we're going to be lifted up higher. Woo-hoo! And we got the church with us. Listen, a lot of the church is with this. There are people in the church, people, well-known leaders that have met up with people like this, Israeli scientists and others in the Great Economic Forum, or I should say the World Economic Forum, in the United Nations, and becoming one in the name of whatever you want to call it. You could call it science, you could call it Krishna, you could call it Allah, you could call it Jesus, whatever you want to call it, which is all in kumbaya, and anyone who's not for us is against us, and we'll eliminate them, and we'll create our own species of man. Crazy stuff is happening. And I pray that you have a backbone to stand up against it. Listen, you don't have to yell and scream and look like a maniac. You don't even have to really rebuke it. If you could just stand in the evil day, having done all to stand, that'll be more than enough. All right, we got to get more. Look, that's not the main headline for tonight. I want to share with you, though, another one very quickly. Lab denies opening portals into parallel universes after physicists revealed their research. According to WVLT over in Knoxville, Tennessee, scientists at Oak Ridge National Labs are trying to discover parallel universes. Now, after several years of researching, they have revealed what they found so far. The team of physicists have been searching for evidence of a right-handed version of our left-handed universe. Okay, specifically, scientists said that they're looking for, and I quote, a mirror neutron, by sending neutrons, one of the particles that make up atoms, into a tube with a blocked end, then seeing if any make it to the other side. The experiment has been compared to Stranger Things upside down. So they said, according to scientist Leah Broussard, she said, so the question I get the most is, were we successful in opening the portal? Not a portal, but the portal. And unfortunately, no, we did not find any evidence of parallel universes or new interactions with the neutron and the dark sector. But they're saying the search isn't over. Scientists said they have more sensitive experiments planned, so we may learn more in the years to come. I think it may become sooner than later with all that's happening. We're opening the door. What did they call it? The dark sector. Sounds Star Wars-ish. I don't know about you. Sounds like something from Star Wars, but it is dark. And it will come with it dark things. And we're not going to be able to welcome it like, oh, hey, like a family member that we haven't seen in a long time, or someone that we've never met. And we're just going to welcome them with open arms. And they're going to come in and we're going to just be all like, they're going to high five us and we're going to be friends now. No. When it comes to the dark side of things, the dark sector, parallel universes, opening the door up to things, dimensions. It's in darkness for a reason. It's not of the light. Let me share with you what that means a bit here. According to the scriptures, the words of Jesus Christ tells us specifically in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 19. Jesus says, and I quote, "And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness," everyone say darkness if you dare, "darkness rather than the light, because their deeds were evil." So darkness is always synonymous with what? Evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. Where the light is, God is. Where darkness is, so is every evil and wicked and confusing thing. So is condemnation. So I just said condemnation. So is anything that loves and believes a lie. So when we're talking about these portals, they're saying again, hey, listen, this is innocent. Yeah, to you it is, but not to the thing on the other side. I mean, what if we're waking something up that should not be awoke? What if I know we have this now in this culture, in this society, you know, the woke people. I guess there's like a woke culture or a woke society, and it's a good thing to be woke. But when you're dealing with things in the dark, when you're dealing with things such as opening portals and parallel universes and the dark sectors of things, these things are not to be awakened, because once they're awakened, you can't put them back to sleep. You could try to neutralize it, and may only be for a moment until it revs up back again, but now coming even stronger and with a greater vengeance because you woke it up initially. We cannot we need to stop doing what we're doing. There's so many things we could do without doing this. It's not like we have nothing else to do. It's not like we're bored on this planet. There are so many things that we have to do. There's things that need to be done. I don't want to sound like a mom. I am a mother, but I'm not trying to sound like a mom to the people who are involved in this. But maybe we need to just kind of wake up ourselves and say, okay, maybe we need to put this stuff down, stop prodding things that will have its own life outside of our life, and it will not be a good thing. It will not be the light of life. It will be darkness. And it's not going to have any mercy on us. Let's put us down. Let's close it up. And thank God that we didn't get touched here, and just move about our day and do what we're supposed to do. There are things that we have to do to take care of stuff here, if you will, you know, and I mean, you know, our planet and just, you know, our environment and ourselves, get our houses in order and more. Anyway, so that's one, again, another headline. Another headline, I got to probably do another broadcast for this one. For the first time, a robot apparently has learned to imagine itself. Talking about new creations, right? New races, new species, new breeds of things that will seek to, I say, have the status of man, but in its own secured, protective way, in its own right. A robot created by Columbia engineers learns to understand itself rather than the environment around it. That's kind of concerning. That's not, I mean, listen, this could, I mean, again, I was just talking about waking something up. When you prod something long enough, it'll eventually, in this case, it could wake up. And now what do you have? You have an issue. You have something that you may not be able to control. You may have something that will become a life on its own, take your life and get bigger and greater and become like a type of black hole. It sucks everything up around it. It's a destruction, is what I'm saying. Anyway, that I have to do another broadcast possibly on these other headlines. Let's get into CERN. All right, let's get into CERN. There's been some reports here about CERN. And I got this report here, and I want to share with you CERN's Tower of Babel. And the question is, according to this article, is CERN synonymous with the Tower of Babel? Oh, I think they're synonymous with that and something else. I'll share with you here in a moment. The way forward, according to Oilup and her colleagues, is to build a vertical accelerator that will put gravity to the test directly. Do we have a right to test gravity? That's just a question I'm asking, but let's continue. These are words published on CERN's official website concerning what they dubbed the space elevator article, an idea proposed by Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky back in 1895. A structure rising from the equator to a height of 35,786 kilometers, which is the altitude of geostationary orbit. CERN's proposed space elevator structure rises 2.5 kilometers above the Swiss countryside. Sounds like the Holy Bible's Tower of Babel when you really think about it. Now, before we continue, let's eliminate the elephant from the room, if you will, and come out right and let you know CERN published their space elevator article as a harmless April Fool's Day joke. But the question is, was it? You ever try to do something and call it a joke when you know it wasn't a joke? You ever do something in the name of being funny and I'm just messing with you, when in all reality, there was some fact to that. You said it for a reason, because there was a plot, there's an agenda. Well, so it is with this Cern. You've heard the expression hiding in plain sight. If you've lived long enough, you must have. If you haven't, hiding in plain sight refers to a situation in which character 1, who has done something bad, such as a crime, jokes with character 2, a naive audience person, about what he has done, but conceals the truth with said joke. Call it character 1's guilt overflowing to the point he can no longer contain the information. Perhaps character 1 is venting, utilizing comedy as a cure for his secret disease. Either way, beware of jokes, because some of them may indeed be facts simply hiding in plain sight. Anyway, Cern was created back on September 29th, 1954. Its mission, as per the company's official website, provide a unique range of particle accelerator facilities that enable research at the forefront of human knowledge, perform world-class research in fundamental physics, unite people from all over the world to push the frontiers of science and technology, for the benefit of all, unquote. Now, for those of you keeping abreast with the narrative, you'll notice keywords such as all and unite. Have you ever wondered who invented the internet? Well, look no further. It was CERN and employee Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist. Mr. Berners-Lee invented the innovative mechanism that disintegrates geographical, cultural, and language barriers and connects us all back in 1989, the birth of the World Wide Web. In the Holy Bible and in the book of Genesis chapter 11 verse 1 through 9, it was written that God was displeased all the world's peoples had united. Together their creative and mental prowess had exceeded anything each could have imagined independently. The peoples of the ancient world had combined their forces, fortified their so-called unity, which would be considered a church today, so to speak, and constructed a monolithic structure known as the Tower of Babel. Now, this tower stretched the surface of the earth all the way to the heavens above, a stairway literally to heaven, as it were. These ancient persons' goal was to become like God and make their way to, or perhaps back to, paradise. God's plan, however, was not that this occur. So he shattered the Tower of Babel and separated society, land, and created multiple languages. Is the saying true, united we stand, divided we fall? The question is, why on earth do we need to unite and go against the natural order of life in the first place? Surely if we were intended to have traveled into outer space and beyond, we as humans would have been equipped with the ability to breathe in outer space, let alone fly, but this clearly is not the case. Speculation concerning CERN's Hadron Collider, a state-of-the-art particle accelerator that discovered the Higgs boson, or God particle, is that it will destroy what we know as time and space altogether. Even the late Stephen Hawking received a scare when he first heard of the discovery. In the preface of his book, Starmus, the physicist wrote, and I quote, "The Higgs potential has the worrisome feature that it might become metastable at energies above 100 billion giga-electron volts, which is GeV. This could mean that the universe could undergo catastrophic vacuum decay, with a bubble of the true vacuum expanding at the speed of light. This could happen at any time," he said, "and we wouldn't see it coming." Stunning. If that isn't enough to give you the willies, I don't know what will. The article's word, not mine. I don't ever say willies. Anyway, let's continue. It's fair to surmise, and I'm certain you will agree, that standing united on matters such as what is good and what is bad, what is in line with God's plans and what is not, is a good thing. To unite on all fronts, no matter the subjects, as history emphatically reveals, is not part of God's plan. Written within the Holy Scriptures in Luke chapter 12, verse 51, Jesus himself says, and I quote, "Do you suppose that I have come to grant peace on earth? I tell you no. Often uniting on all fronts creates a," and that's unquote, when he said no. "Often uniting on all fronts creates a society that becomes too big for its britches. Reflect upon the ancient Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Greeks, and the Romans as perfect examples. Whether or not CERN is attempting to resurrect similar principles or directly resurrect the Tower of Babel and the society that birthed its creation is to be decided. However, Their recent strides indicate striking similarities that are almost too obvious to simply omit from our God-given common sense. It's good to be aware and to discern the gravity of situations that are taking place all around us. Especially now more than ever, we need to stand in the truth of the Word of God, in mind and in spirit, so that we will know the truth. And the truth can not only set us free, but it will keep us free. We don't need to be part of any collective consciousness focused on defining its own destiny. That is not God's will. Now I want to share with you a few more things. According to, hopefully I say the name right, Bertolucci, he said, and I quote, "The Large Hadron Collider could open a doorway to another dimension. And out this door might come something, or we might send something through it." As disturbing as the statement is, this is nothing new to the scientists at CERN. They believe in the existence of other parallel and alternative dimensions. Physics dictate that there are at least 11 of them, and they believe that in recreating the conditions of the Big Bang, scientists can rip open the veil that separates the two. However, the scientists at CERN seem to have no real understanding of how utterly dangerous this could be. I want to refer you to the book of Revelation, chapter 9. Let's go there together. The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 1 through 11. Tell me if this sounds a lot like what I just shared with you. I should say the result of what could easily be ready to happen at any moment. "Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit, like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And they were not given authority to kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. Their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. In those days men will seek death and will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them. The shape of the locusts was like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. They had hair like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth. And they had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running into battle. They had tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. Their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon. One woe has passed. Behold, still 2 more woes are coming after these things. So here, when we read, to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. Here, the Apostle John tells us about a time when Satan is given the key to this bottomless pit, and is to release a horde of demonic beings resembling locusts, just as was described in this portion of scripture, upon the entire face of the globe. I wonder if this biblical event is connected with the experiments going on at CERN. It's interesting to note that the word bottomless pit is translated abyssos in Greek, literally meaning the shaft of the abyss. So it isn't just a pit, but rather a tunnel. The tunnel to the abyss. The idea of a tunnel, such as a wormhole leading to another dimension, or even a black hole, is very much at the heart of CERN. And guess what term scientists often use to describe a black hole? A bottomless pit. A further interest is the fact that the town where CERN is located was called Apollonicum in Roman times, where a temple existed in honor of Apollyon, the destroyer Apollo, just as I just shared with you in Revelation. And the Romans believed that it was a gateway to the underworld. Note that the bottomless pit is associated with the underworld. Compare this to Revelation chapter 9, verse 11, which states, and I quote, And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. We're told that Apollyon is the angel of the bottomless pit and the king of the demonic locusts that were unleashed. Is it a coincidence that Cern is built on the town dedicated to Apollyon? It is also a coincidence that a statue of the Hindu god Lord Shiva, also known as a god of destruction, or called the Destroyer, is prominently displayed outside the LHC. The name of the angel, Apollyon, in Greek means destruction. By the way, what has this got to do with science? Now, on top of all of that, Cern is short for the horned god Cernonus, the god of the underworld. Just another coincidence? Is it also a coincidence that Cern has to go deep underground to do their god harnessing experiments? I don't know, but all this would explain why they've chosen to build their so-called science project underground, and on a site straddling two countries, France and Switzerland, which makes no sense at all, or why they've chosen an acronym that doesn't seem to fit what it even stands for. Let's continue a bit more about Cern before I end this broadcast. Cern has occultic and satanic symbolism. As if it wasn't already obvious enough concerning their intentions, let's consider the following. Their Cern logo is the number 3 intertwined. I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. The Cern logo is 3 intertwined sixes. I don't have a picture of it here, but you can simply look it up on the World Wide Web. Again, the Cern logo is 3 intertwined sixes, the number 6, as in 666. There is no logical reason for this 666 pattern, since the Cern facility tunnels are not arranged like this. Another thing, Cern is a birthplace of the World Wide Web, www. Interestingly enough, the Hebrew equivalent of our W is the letter Vav, or Waw, W-A-W, which has the numerical value of 6, because the Hebrew alphabet has the numbers and letters one and the same. So the English www, literally, I should say, transliterated into Hebrew, is Vav, 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 or 666. Another thing, on March 14, 2015, Cern released a strange occultic preview video titled Symmetry. The video or trailer was filmed inside Cern and appears to contain at least some occultic elements, which have nothing to do with the video's theme of finding the smallest particle. It has suggestions of rebirth, falling into an abyss, or even another plane of existence or time travel, and a dance dedicated to destruction before the resurgence. This weird occultic dance is extremely significant in light of the fact that the large statue of Shiva sitting outside the Cern complex is seen performing this exact dance. You can actually view the video online, probably visit YouTube. It's called Symmetry Cern Dance Opera Film. Also, on June 1st, 2016, the Gotthard Base Tunnel over in Switzerland, which is the world's largest railway tunnel, marked its grand opening with an extremely bizarre, deeply occultic satanic ceremony. Of significance is the fact that it occurred near Cern, also located over the area claimed to be the entrance to the underworld. And images that were projected on a massive video screen during the ceremony suggest a connection to Cern, also known as the multi-armed Shiva doing the cosmic dance and the Atlas coming up out of Cern. This Gotthard ceremony featured a goat man resembling Baphomet that dies, is resurrected, is worshipped, and is crowned as king of the world. Friends, Baphomet has become one of the key symbols used to represent Satan in the occult community in decades. Other blatant occultic references in the ceremony included the Eye of Providence, prophecy, Lucifer, fallen angels, and many more. You can actually view the footage again on the World Wide Web. You could probably visit the YouTube, and it's titled Full Bizarre Demonic Gotthard Tunnel Opening Ceremony. Another thing I want to share with you about Cern. On August 11, 2016, a very strange leaked video surfaced of a satanic ritual human sacrifice taking place on the grounds of Cern in front of Shiva statue. The video shows several individuals, unnamed scientists at Cern, in black cloaks gathered in front of the Shiva statue, in which appears to be an actual reenactment of an occult ceremony, at the end of which a woman is stabbed. Whatever the intentions behind this particular ritual, the end result is the same. It is yet another strange ritualistic event associated with Cern. You can actually see the video, I believe it's also on the World Wide Web via YouTube, called the Cern Human Sacrifice video. Another thing about CERN. On June 24, 2016, pictures of some extremely bizarre portal-shaped cloud formations were taken in the area just above the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. The same day, CERN scientists began a new awake experiment to change the way it smashes particles together. Could it be possible that there was some sort of a connection between this new awake experiment and these strange cloud formations, and precisely what to do, and precisely what do the researchers hope to awake anyway? There is so much happening, my friends. Let me share with you another. The acronym CERN has used to title many of their experiments are all demonic. These acronyms include Satan. They literally have something called Satan, or I should say short for Satan, which means Solar Axion Telescopic Antenna, also known as Satan. Seriously? Another acronym, Delphi, meaning Detector with Lepton, Photon, and Hadron Identification, also known as Delphi. Oh, they're not done. They have another acronym that they use, the Sanctuary of Apollos. Oh, by the way, Delphi, the acronym that they use is the Sanctuary of Apollo. Another one that they use is called Hades, known as High Acceptance Dielectron Spectrometer. Hades, that's what we call it for short. This is the name of both the underworld and the god of the underworld. Another one, Alice, a large ion collider experiment. We just call it Alice, which is another name for Lucifer. Respectfully, mean no disrespect to those people who are called Alice, but we see the picture here. We see clearly dots being connected. We see an agenda. We see a calling. These people are calling this to be manifested. This Alice thing, which is another name for Lucifer, you can verify this in further examples on their own website. They're not hiding any of it from us. They're not hiding any of it from anybody. The list goes on. Unfortunately, time precludes me from continuing, but it's like an exhaustive list with CERN's true intentions, such as strange objects appearing in the machine during tests, Sanskrit writings, which is a language of ancient gods, on panels inside CERN, and earthquakes coinciding with the Large Hadron Collider's activities. So let me conclude this. All of these coincidences, which we know are not, these symbols, pattern of occult rituals suggesting it is without a doubt a portal to the demonic realm. It begs the question, could it be possible that these scientists inadvertently end up opening a portal or a door not to another dimension, but into the spiritual realm, perhaps even to the bottomless pit itself? Concerning the fulfillment of Revelation 9, we must keep in mind that an angel is given the key to the bottomless pit, and it's the angel who opens it. Revelation chapter 9, verse 1. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. However, given the occult and satanic symbolism surrounding this scientific facility and its weird obsession with Apollo and Apollyon, it would be wise to consider the possibility. Nevertheless, it appears that what has happened long ago back in Genesis chapter 11 may be happening again. Consider these parallels between CERN and the people of Babel. The people of Babel wanted to construct a tower that would reach into the heavens, and it was believed that Babylon was an area where a portal of some sort was located. You can read it in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. Well, you have CERN that is attempting to reach into the heavens with the LHC, and it's believed that Saint Guinness Poili, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, please forgive me. This is a town of CERN, or CERN's town, was an area where a portal to the underworld was actually located. The people of Babel also spoke the same language and were united in what they wanted to accomplish. You can read that in Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. CERN created the World Wide Web, uniting people under one language again, and the CERN project is united effort by 22 member states. Also, the people of Babel made the tallest building ever made. You can read that account in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. CERN made the largest machine ever made. I think it's safe to say that history has repeated itself, and since Jesus said he would return at a time when this would happen, becoming again as in the days of Noah, we see yet another sign that he's coming soon. As for the scientists at CERN, they better be careful what they ask for, because this time God will do more than mix up languages. Let me end it with what God would do. And this, let it open the eyes of the blind, in Jesus' name. I will read it directly. I will read it directly from 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 10. Verse 11. And for this reason God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who do not believe the truth but have pleasure in unrighteousness. Get saved. Truly the day of the Lord is at hand. Until the next broadcast report, may you all be blessed. I want to invite you to learn more about my church ministry at www.emoaf.org, emoaf.org. And while you're there, take a moment and help support the work of the End Time Ministry with a donation. Your donations help make the work of this church ministry possible. You could even become a monthly partner. We are procuring for monthly partners right now, and we bless you and thank you. All right, my friends, until the next broadcast, if you're hot, stay cool. If you're cool, get warm. Get saved is what you need to do. Stay saved. Again, the day of the Lord is at hand. God bless you.